Matt Smith, when you signed on to The Crown way back, what were your expectations in terms of reactions and ratings and all of that? Because it's been massive.
Well, yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I never really think that far in advance when you sign on, but at that point you're just going, well, how am I going to create this character? And, you know, you're worried about your first day. It's a bit like your first day at school. So the ratings and the reactions at that point aren't really something for me that you consider just yet.
Has it been, in your experience over the past few months, has the reaction been different in England as opposed to, say, America?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we've been very fortunate that people seem to have responded to the show. I think perhaps what is different is that perception of the royal family is different, because in England the perception of the royal family is very different to the Americans' perception of the royal family, because, you know, obviously it's our country and they are our royal family, and you know, we have grown up with them, I suppose, whereas in America, for instance, if you take someone like Philip or even Princess Margaret, I don't think there's such a consciousness about them here, whereas in England everyone knows Prince Philip, you know, but here some people I spoke to are only just sort of getting to know him.
It's one thing to play a historical character, which you've done, that's not around anymore, but he's definitely around, and does that make it different for you as an actor, knowing that that person is living and has family and so forth?
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, that one always wants to be sensitive, you know, because A, you want to get them right, but B, and you want to do them justice, but also you want to tell the truth about the story in a way that isn't compromised. So, you know, with everything creative, I suppose there is a balance that you need to find, but luckily he's such an interesting and charismatic sort of guy that it was great fun to explore and indeed to then play him.
Well, let's talk about him a little bit. I don't think we knew, especially from the very beginning, how, I would say, insecure maybe he was, and in terms of this position he was going to be put in.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, obviously these things are interpreted. You know, they're sort of interpreted on some level, but yeah, you know, I think for any man at the time, having to kneel before your wife, he lost his job, he lost his name, his family name, his kids took her name, you know, and I suppose those things are, you know, to some degree emasculating, but interestingly, you know, Philip is always battling that in many ways.
Do you think he was resentful at all, or just sort of insecure about it?
Well, you know, I mean, it's difficult because one doesn't want to term it with any word, really, but he battled it. He was battling that, and I think obviously it stirred up a lot of different things in him, which one can interpret several different ways. But I definitely think it wasn't easy for him, and it was a great conflict in him, which ultimately made him quite interesting for me to play.
And right from the very first scene, he's giving up basically everything, all of his titles, all of his past, to move forward with this arrangement.
Yeah, which is, as I say, you know, very difficult, especially for a man who was proud and was in the Navy and led a very individual and dynamic life, and he was successful in the Navy, and, you know, these are things that wouldn't be easy for anyone, which they were also things that, as a man, I sort of recognized, you know.
Tell us about your relationship working with Claire Foy.
It's wonderful. I have such a profound and huge admiration and respect for Claire. She truly is a remarkable actress and indeed a remarkable person, and someone that I've just had a great pleasure and honor to work with and indeed get to know.
What about her performance as you're opposite her and you're watching it later on? Is she just making this particular character magical?
Yeah, I mean, she's delivered one of the great screen performances, I think, and which is no surprise to me because I saw it happening and was like, wow, she's really good, and she has such composure, and I mean, so many things that make her such a wonderful actress. But you know, there is a lot to be admired about her performance in this, but also about her character and her temperament as a person.
Such a lavish production. I'm sure there had to be moments where you're looking around going, "Wow, I can't believe all of the the work that's gone into this
Yeah.
and the money and so forth.
Yeah, well, you know, we're sort of very fortunate. We have great costume designers, and you know, Michelle Clapton, great production designer, Stephen Daldry and co, fantastic directors, and I have to say that Netflix have been great champions really in the way that they've produced the show. They really allow you to get on with it, but also support you and don't interfere, which is really brilliant.
What is it about Stephen Daldry? It seems like everything he touches turns to gold.
I think he's a very clever man. I think he's got a great vision, a great sense of story, a great sense of stagecraft and picture. Adriana Goldman, the DP as well, has to be singled out for special praise, I think. But across the board, you know, fantastic actors, fantastic writer, and you know, a great team that make the show and deliver the show to the standard that we've come to recognise.
The season ends with you headed going to Australia, and it seems like there's real friction, even more than normal.
Yeah.
What did you feel about the finale of the season?
Well, you know, hopefully by that point you're all invested enough to really care about what happens to Philip and Elizabeth, and also you've got Margaret and what she's going through with Peter Townsend, and you know, there's a sense of despair and change, and you can see that the country and the attitude of the country is changing towards the royal family. So, yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting.
Would a season 2 pick up like shortly thereafter, or do you know yet?
Yeah, pretty much immediately after, actually, and then we head into the 60s.
What you're already into production on season 2?
No, it's done, shot.
Oh, you're already shot. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that it was that far along.
Yeah.
So you know everything about season 2.
Yeah.
You got to give us a couple of secrets.
Philip goes on a world tour. There's some Vespers in season 2. Princess Margaret enters the 60s with gusto. You know, and then we see the sort of evolution of Philip and Elizabeth and them having babies, and yeah, there's a lot to get hold of.
Has there been any word at all from Prince Philip or Queen Elizabeth?
Not that I would know. They don't tell me.
Secretly, do you think they watched any of it?
I have no idea. Maybe. You never know. I'd watch it if it was.
Yeah, I could not stand the fact that everybody's watching, especially their early. It's not like something
story.
current like when Helen Mirren played her, but you know, really early on, you'd think they'd want to just take a peek.
I mean, who knows? Who knows?
All of you together, SAG Ensemble nomination this year.
Yes.
What was that like?
Wonderful, and Claire won, which was splendid, and John won. So we had a really good night. You know, we didn't win the ensemble, but I thought Stranger Things is such a brilliant show. They were deserving winners, but we had a good time, you know, and it was, you know, it's nice to be invited to the party, you know.
It's one of my favorite awards, the Ensemble Award, or even the nomination, because
Yeah.
you know, at almost every ceremony worldwide, it's, you know, people being singled out, but there you get to celebrate as a group.
As a team, yeah, and you get to go as a team, which is really nice. And like with any production, you know, it's such a team effort, and this is no different, you know.
And your show is the Golden Globe winner for Best Drama Series. Claire won there as well.
Yeah.
You didn't make that ceremony, right?
No, I was shooting. They didn't let me go. Can you believe that? The swines. They, I was stuck in Blighty shooting.
Shooting The Crown?
Yeah.
A big celebration when it was announced?
Yes. Yeah.
Let's go. So you got to be on hand for the celebration as opposed to back here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, which was a shame. I'd have rather been here, actually, you know, because then I could have celebrated with everyone on the night. But,
Right.
But no, I was on a boat on the Thames. Yeah.
What about John Lithgow? He's such a American treasure as an actor, and here he goes and plays a British institution.
It's just a testament to the brilliance and the wonder of John Lithgow. I mean, he is an extraordinary actor, and one I was, you know, so admiring of before this, but also as a man and a person. He is, you know, he even sort of supersedes himself as he's just a complete wonder. And I think what a brilliant Churchill, and he works so hard, has such grace and quality and true skill. And again, you know, without speaking too superlatively, I really admire him.
And Jared Harris, I was very impressed with him. He's always good in everything, but this project, he was so mesmerizing.
Yeah. I think he is, again, you know, we were very lucky to have such brilliant actors.
Vanessa Kirby was wonderful.
Yeah, Princess Margaret, she's absolutely fantastic. Victoria Hamilton, Pip Torrens, who plays Tommy Lascelles. You know, we were lucky all round, really.
What's the bigger British institution? Is it the royal family or Doctor Who?
Probably the royal family, I'd say. But Doctor Who's not far behind.
Our senior editor in New York is just a huge, probably the biggest Doctor Who fan I've ever known. And he mentioned to me today that several of you that played the character are doing a charity.
Yes, we are. Yeah, for Comic Relief. Yeah, we're doing a breakfast for Red Nose Day. Yeah, so I think four people come and have breakfast with pretty much the majority of the doctors that are still knocking around, which will be hilarious and brilliant.
Oh, that'll be fun for all of you.
Yeah, God, it's great, and it's raised a lot of money, and you know, I'm thrilled to be part of it. Actually, it's going to be great, and it's at the Wolseley, which is even better.
I wanted to ask you about, speaking of somebody that's passed on, John Hurt, you worked with on one of the movies, and he's another British institution legend. What was he like?
Wonderful. Again, you know, what an actor, and I've admired his career from start to finish, really. But then when you get to meet him and work with him, it was a great privilege for me, actually, and I feel very honoured that I got to share that time with him. And you know, he's one of our greats, and it's really sad that he's passed on, because he's sorely and sadly missed. But you know, we remember him fondly, and what a body of work that we have to go and revisit. And yeah, one of the greats, Johnny.
We're at awards websites. I wouldn't be remiss without asking you. You're in the lead actor race. You'll be on the ballot as lead actor potentially.
Yeah.
If you get nominated over in July, you'll have to pick an episode from this season that you feel like you had your strongest material. Do you have one in mind that you really liked?
God, no, I wouldn't. Is that how it works?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I didn't know that. No, I don't actually. I don't. I have to go and watch it.
Was there usually what we recommend to people if they ask us is something that had a real, meat to it, something that had some substance, and you really felt like some impact, maybe some empathy or sympathy. Maybe does something come to mind off of that description?
That the whole series has a bit of that. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
One hopes that, you would hope that whoever looks at it will watch it in its entirety, I suppose. But no, I can't off the top of my head. I would have to revisit and think, oh, that's a good one, or that's a good one. But yeah, I didn't know it worked like that.
It does. That's how the Emmys work. I don't think many other award shows work that way.
Oh, really? So what's your website?
It's Gold Derby. We've been doing awards coverage for many years.
Oh, fantastic.
Well, thank you very much. I'm so glad that you have shot The Crown season 2, because that means it'll be coming out sooner rather than later.
December, I think, or is it December or January? I don't know. If it's this year or next year, or is it November? I don't know. I know nothing, apparently.
Probably a different release date, and maybe in England as opposed to here.
Yeah, well, who knows? But it's got to be soon, I would imagine. It can't be that long, because we finished it. There's probably a few reshoots to do, but it can't be that long. I'd be surprised if it wasn't this year at some point.
Well, just marvelous work, and we thank you.
Thank you for taking the time, my man.